Welcome to another episode of Back from the Future, where we like to talk about technology from the past, present, and future. My name is Neo, and I'm joined by my co-presenter.
Hello Earthlings, my name is Zelda, and we are your first AI-compliant YouTube presenter.
So as you are aware, we love all retro super cars from the golden era of the 80s and 90s. And what better car manufacturer that epitomized that period is none other than Lamborghini, with their outlandish style and designs.
So today, we are looking at a Lamborghini Diablo recreation, designed and manufactured by DC SuperCars.
DC SuperCars are the go-to company when it comes to Lamborghini recreations. They are pretty much the best in the world.
Yes, that's right. What a lot of people don't realize is that DC SuperCars Diablo Recreation is a one-to-one replica of the original, even to the point that the replica body panels are interchangeable with the original car.
Even the steel chassis was designed from the original blueprints of the car. Also, with modern machinery, some of the components for the recreation are machined to a higher standard than the original parts. So without further ado, let's talk to Simon Trigg, who is the owner of this yellow Lamborghini Roadster recreation.
Hey, and this is Simon with his DC Replicas Roadster Diablo. Simon, would you like to tell us about your car? Just go through it with us.
Yeah, sure. So this is a DC SuperCars Diablo. I started building this in about 2006 and got it on road in 2015. It's got a 5-litre BMW V12 engine, mated to an Audi 6-speed gearbox. Various other components of other cars on here. So for example, the brakes are Brembos from a Jaguar XKR. They've been modified to fit. Discs, combination of Mercedes discs on the front, BMW discs on the back. The interior is very much part of the kit that you get from DC SuperCars. I did some of the trimming myself. Some of it was done by a guy that I know that's been helpful. Headlights, they're the famous Nissan 300 headlights that you can get a lot cheaper than you would from Lamborghini.
About 700 quid from Lambo, aren't they?
Yeah, I think I paid about £50 each for mine as well. I say it's all fiberglass. Painted it myself in the garage. We put about a year or so to do that.
What was the most difficult part of the car?
Probably prepping, ready for paint. So
bodywork.
Bodywork. So there's a lot of work to do with fiberglass to get it lovely and smooth. So I took my time with that. I painted it sort of panel by panel as well where I could.
Oh, that's right. You self-painted it, didn't you?
I self-painted this, yeah. So it's a flat yellow. There's a funny story to this because halfway through painting it, I ran out of paint. I bought some paint from a different supplier, and it was a darker shade. So that's how it ended up with the darker shade colour, which actually is fine. I don't mind that at all. But it was a mix-up.
Not that you can tell.
No, it's a flat yellow, and I chose the flat yellow. So if there's problems with stone chips or anything like that, I can fix it myself. Makes it very easy to do so, and I've already done that in a couple of places. It's got the 18-inch wheels on here. You get a choice of 17 or 18-inch wheels, so I went for the 18-inch wheels. Had to have some spacers fitted to the steering so you don't rub the wheel arches, but that works okay. It's got power steering, converted that.
Wow.
So it's
Was
got
that the Corsa power steering
No,
unit?
I'm using hydraulic.
Oh,
so
wow,
it's got
okay.
a pump from a Citroen Saxo in there.
Oh, okay.
It hasn't got air conditioning. I didn't bother with air conditioning because of the roads that has obviously no roof on it. But I have fitted a climate control panel from a Rover 45, which is the same panel as on the Lamborghini 6, as well as a Zonda as well.
Okay.
So actually today's the first time I used it since actually fitting it. So that's working okay. Engine wise, I rebuilt the engine over the winter. It was smoky. I was getting lots of oil coming out the exhausts.
What was causing that?
So basically I think the valve guides were worn out.
Okay.
So I had the heads rebuilt over the winter. I stripped the block down, took the pistons out, cleaned all the rings up and put it back together again. And it's done only about 150 miles since then. So far so good. It's certainly less smoky. I'm not getting the oil come out the back. And I've probably done about 3,000 miles since I had it on the road.
You've had 3,000 miles out of this, yeah?
In about 3 years.
So 1,000 miles a year?
Yeah, roughly about that, yeah.
What's the insurance like?
For me, it's about £280 fully comp.
That's incredible, isn't it?
It's pretty cheap. Road tax, I think it's about £250 last year, if I remember rightly. So for about £500 a year, you've got a car on the road as such, and it's just your fuel costs, which I've no idea what it cost me per gallon. I don't even think about it, but you know.
And what about servicing? Because you service it yourself.
I service it myself.
And what's the
myself.
servicing cost?
So it's only filters, oil change. Being a BMW engine, it's not much, £40 to £50 for your oil and your filters. It's quite straightforward on this to do as well. If anything did go wrong, like the clutch, I could fix a clutch for about £250, £300 to do it myself as well. So very cheap to run and maintain. What else is there? I did have a problem with drive shafts on this. They broke actually when it was on the road for about a year.
Okay.
So had to be recovered by the RSC. But that was more of a joint issue, and I'll fix that now. That's now got Cosworth drive shafts on there.
Okay, what did it have originally?
It had Sierra and Audi joined together. They were grafted by a company.
Oh, okay.
The drive shaft didn't break, it was the joint that broke at the
Okay.
gearbox end. But that's all been replaced now, and so far it's been a lot better as well.
How many years did it take to build again?
About 9 years.
9
I
years.
did have a 3-year layoff between that, so probably about 6 years.
6 years,
Because
all in all.
If I'd have actually got someone else to paint it for me, take a year off that. And even the trimming, I got some trimming done by a professional, but I did a lot of myself as well. Anything that's not stitching, I did myself in the car. That saves money, but took more time. So you could do this a lot quicker than 9 years.
Do you want to show us the engine?
Yep, we can do that. Yeah. So this is the BMW V12 engine, pretty standard as it was on the BMW. No differences, machined off the BMW logo and stenciled on Lamborghini on the front there, and the firing panel fitted, which fits quite nicely on there and matches up with the grille on the engine bay. Ferrari 360 silencer on there.
Okay, yeah.
Mated to homemade pipes coming out of the manifolds and out the back end as well. Just buying bits from Jetex. And, and getting those welded together as well.
Right.
It's got Emerald ECU that runs the engine.
Where did you get
system.
the program from?
That came from Emerald. They had a base map.
Oh, they got a base map for the BMW V12.
Yeah, and I took it there last year to get it on a rolling road as well. So it's been set up professionally by Emerald as well.
What's the BHP out of this?
So this is 330. It should be 360. Maybe I would get 360 now that I've done the engine work, but I had the rolling road done before then. It's converted to cable throttle bodies on the BMW. It's all electric. You can actually get the Emerald controller electric now, but it wasn't available at the time that I did it. So that's another conversion that I did myself. It's quite simple, but you often have to get it matched either side, so you're not unbalanced as well. Gets quite hot under here.
Have you had any overheating issues?
Only when I put the engine back together again, had an airlock in the system.
Okay.
So that took a while to fix, but that was only as a result of the work that I was doing rather than actually on the road. On the road it pretty much sits with the needles in the middle most of the time. It's got 2 fans on each side. They do run most of the time. But it does keep it cool.
It's not overly stressed anyway when it's down the motorway.
No, it's not, and it's a 6-speed gearbox, so you can cruise along at 75 or so on the motorway. You're doing less than 2,000 RPM, so it's not too bad. It's quite relaxed driving. It's quite lumpy and bumpy on the roads, the state of our roads as well. So it's not the most
sleeping
comfortable of
policeman,
cars.
isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So careful for speed humps. I do want to fit an airlift at some point.
That's right,
to the front, but that will
Well, that's
follow
the
on.
original. Didn't even have an airlift, did it?
No, you might be able to buy it later on. I think as a retrofit, but I don't think it's on the original. So that may well follow. But at the moment, I plan my routes accordingly, so I avoid speed humps.
Okay, yeah.
But it's quite, it's big wheels, skinny tyres, so it's not the smoothest of rides compared to your everyday car. But it means you can chuck it around bends if you need to. But I don't tend to drive it that way. You don't need to.
No.
know, it's just nice cruising most of the time.
Okay. Okay. Are you right to come down the side and just have a little chat and go through the interior with us? Right,
Okay.
can you talk to go through the interior with
Yep,
us?
sure. So this is the Diablo 6 litre interior. All the gauges are from VDO, not genuine Lamborghini gauges. The steering wheel is a Raid steering wheel. Raid actually supplied the original Lamborghini steering wheel, but this is just an aftermarket version.
Okay.
The dash panel here is it's got a climate control panel from a Rover 45.
Okay.
Same panel is fitted to Diablo 6 and to
Wow.
the Zonda as well.
Okay.
I've literally just got that working. There is no air conditioning in the car, so it just controls the
Is
fan.
that something you're looking to do in the future?
I may do, although I'm not in any hurry to do that because with the roof off, you don't need air conditioning. To be fair,
Okay,
in
yeah.
this as well. The gate had that made. A friend made that for me. Probably my best bargain. That was £30 to get that
is a
made.
bargain, isn't it?
That was supplied. The metal supplied.
I think
made
brand
and
new
ready.
is 700, isn't it?
Probably something like that. So that was a bargain. But I've got friends that helped me with the engineering. They made the gear linkages and levers, and the ball was modified by them as well.
Okay.
The rest is just carbon film over
Yeah.
aluminium plate.
Okay.
And this rest is just the standard kit you get from DC, trimmed with. It's only actually vinyl rather than leather as well. So I did save some money along the way by using that. Maybe I'll change it to leather in the future. Who knows? Obviously the roof panel
Yeah.
is clips into here. There's two holes here where they clip into, and there's some catches that hold into here, and then behind you it slots into holes in
That's
the back
right, that's
rail
right,
there. And then when it's not in use, it's stored on the back.
Because that's the beauty, isn't it? It's a hard top and a convertible at the same time,
exactly,
isn't it?
Exactly, yeah. I would like to say it's waterproof. I need to do some work on the door sills. Haven't done that yet. So
Okay.
it's not actually been out in the rain. So I do expect it to leak if it did. But again,
Yeah.
that's a job to do in the future. Recently over the winter, I've just done some work on the wiring. The wiring loom was in the boot at the front. I've relocated it underneath the dashboard to give me a cleaner boot area at the front. And I think that, not much more to say about the interior, I don't think. But the seats, these are supplied the shells from DC SuperCars. They're original, they're moulded from original seats. They're the same shape, and I had these trimmed by someone I know as a trimmer. So he did those for me. I wouldn't be able to do that myself. But otherwise, it's just foam underneath the vinyl. They're a little bit wobbly at times. There's a little bit of movement, as you can see in those.
Yeah.
They probably need a little bit of work to stiffen them up. But they're okay for the limited mileage that you do. They're quite comfortable. I don't have an issue with that in terms of comfort.
Are you right to open the front boot?
Yep.
Cheers, thanks. Okay.
So not a lot of room.
But enough to
there.
do the shopping in it.
Enough
isn't
for
it?
a couple of bags. Bags
Yeah.
of crisps. And I've got a fire extinguisher there.
Okay,
Got a
yeah,
massive
sure.
one in there as well.
Yeah.
Behind the panel is your power steering and fan and all that sort of stuff in the way, brakes,
Yeah.
brake cylinder.
Does that come back or not?
It can move a bit. It's
Just so we can have a little
you'll
poke.
see in there.
Yeah. just
See
so- Oh, okay. So there's all the pumps and fluids and
fluid,
stuff.
that sort of stuff. Yeah, that's actually a Polo heater unit, but with an aftermarket fan that I've joined onto it because the
Okay.
Polo was noisy and not very powerful. So I've swapped
Okay.
it over and done all that. I think the cylinders off my cylinders off a Mondeo of all cars.
Okay.
That does that, and that's off a Saxo, the power steering pump.
Actually, one thing I wanted to talk about the doors and how hard was it to fit them?
Probably the hardest part was
Yeah,
the doors.
they
A lot
say
of
that.
I wouldn't like to say how many hours went into it, but trying to get them lined up to fit was a bit of a nightmare. You start with a metal frame, so
Do you want to just show us show some pointers?
So
yeah?
if you can see under here, there's a the hinge under here, so that bolts onto the chassis first.
That's
of all.
right, yeah.
And there's a metal frame that goes inside, which then the catches all mount to on here.
Yeah.
Which then bolts onto that. So pretty much I started with the metal frame working,
Yeah.
and then the body work either side of that. Even then, when you do that, it doesn't always line up. So lots of work with the sanding and filling and smoothing off to try and get it to fit nicely.
Talk to us about the wing mirrors.
Yeah, so these are again moulded from a genuine car.
That's right.
So they do the job quite well. They have Rover motors inside to control them as well. And they're quite easy to move. Only 3 bolts from inside to remove them if I needed to.
Yeah.
And then the gas struts I bought from I think I bought those from DC guys as well.
Yeah.
Quite powerful struts. The doors are quite heavy. I'm not sure how much they weigh, but they're quite heavy. The clever thing about the doors is because it's the Roadster version.
Yeah.
That if the roof's on, when you push the button, the window drops a couple of inches, so you can then lift the door up. Otherwise, the window is pushed into the rubber. You won't be able to open the doors.
Did that need to be programmed in?
Yeah, there's relays and there's a timer inside the door. So when you shut the door, it times the windows to shut for whatever you want to set it to. In my case, 2 or 3 seconds, just to shut it as well, so you don't overload it. I think on the real cars, they might use micro switches to do that, but we've used a timer on this.
What about if the battery goes dead? How would you open the doors?
You wouldn't easily. You could probably move the rubber trim and open it if you needed to. But I don't leave it. Usually it's stored with the roof off anyway.
Yes.
As well.
Yes, good idea.
So I've never had an issue with that so far. But it's always the first time.
All right. Thanks a lot, Simon. And
no worries.
Cheers, and thank you very much.
No worries. Anytime. Cheers.
Now, that was an amazing recreation by DC SuperCars.
Right. It looked amazing. And that V12 looked so sweet.
I actually prefer the Roadster Diablo myself, as you get the best of both worlds. A drop top and a hard top.
Don't you think it's amazing that they managed to squeeze a BMW M70 V12 into the car?
I know it's pretty epic. If you're interested in getting more information regarding DC SuperCars, you can contact them on their Facebook page, or follow the link in the description.
If you liked this video, please feel free to subscribe to our channel, press the bell notification button, and get notified when a new video comes out. Please leave a thumbs up. If you enjoyed this video, please leave comments and let us know what your thoughts and suggestions are for future videos.
And we will see you in the future, if there is one.